Yep. Why is he not showing up? You guys all here? I have to add you in. There we go.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't see Jimmy here, though. All right, who's got their damn seatbelt on?
That's me.
Put it on. What's up, boys? We're live.
What's up, man?
Not much. Wait, where's Jimmy at?
Well, he said he's ready to go.
See him here, though, on the participant.
There's a lot happening here.
Better get that seatbelt on.
That's what I was doing.
What?
Jimmy said
Are we live on Facebook, Rob?
Yeah.
Yes, we're live.
Beautiful. What's up, everybody? My name is Steve Ibrand. I will be hosting this week's edition of the Fantasy Fix. I got TY with me. I got Rob Rennie and Jim Marcus from Sandy Boot First will be joining us in a minute. This will be a weekly round table. We'll all be jumping on and giving our insight from a fantasy perspective. Talk about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, stardom, situms. We have some miscellaneous talk. We're going to talk FanDuel. We're going to talk the lines, what games we like, what games we don't, and TY's favorite segment, the anytime touchdowns.
Anytime touchdown. That's the moneymaker.
Anytime touchdowns. So this year for fantasy, from that perspective, it was very weird because there was no preseason buildup. Like you just went right into the season starting. So it's different. It's a different perspective of fantasy football. You have no baseline, right?
Yeah, no preseason. Just going off of what happened last year and what you think's going to happen this year.
Right. There he is.
Morning, gentlemen.
There's Jimmy.
Welcome to the program.
Sorry, I was trying to go through the iPad and it wasn't connected to the iPad, so I'm on the phone. What's going on, boys?
Gotcha now. What's up, Bobby Hartnett checking in? All right, so listen, we're going to start right off because we're on a tight fixed schedule. We're going to go right into the quarterback stardom sit-em. Ty, you want to go with your start first?
Starts for me definitely this week are going to be Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson in that game. It's one of the highest point totals out there. There's not a whole lot of defense in Atlanta. You can run on Seattle. Secondary is a little bit better now that they have Adams, but I still project that to be Atlanta's going to have to keep up. Seattle's going to kind of score at will, and you can see both teams getting in the 30s this week. So both quarterbacks in that game are starts for me easily. And then my other surprise start would be Mitchell Trubisky, just based on how he plays against Detroit every year. He'd be in the Hall of Fame if he played Detroit every week of the season. There would be no question. Nick Foles never would have been signed. Look for him to get at least 3 touchdowns tomorrow for you if you're a Trubisky streamer.
Jimmy, what about you?
Oh, bold, Tommy. I like it.
You got to come out bold in week 1. We don't play games. What are you going to do? I mean, everybody could say start Mahomes. We're not saying that. Start Lamar. Right. We're not doing that here.
Right. Lamar's easy one. Mahomes is gone. We can't even pick Mahomes. I'm with you on Russ. I think Russ is going to come out playing against Atlanta. That's probably one of the next no-brainers, right? After Mahomes and Lamar. But I'm with you in the Chicago game, but I'm on the other side. I like Stafford this week. Even though it sounds like Galladay may not play now, so maybe we downgrade him a little bit. But I have 2 guys this week in Stafford and Cam, who looking to come back, kick off the season. I'm here. I'm ready to play, show what they're ready to do, especially Cam. Home opener in New England. I don't think New England's going to have fans either. But just to show his new team that, hey, look, forget about that guy that was here before me. I'm going to take this team to the next level.
Okay. I like it.
What about you, Rob?
Being out.
I'm on the Matt Ryan train too, but I like Josh Allen as well. So, and also like Phillip Rivers going against that horrible Jacksonville team that they basically traded everyone. So I'm on Rivers this week.
I'm on the opposite side of this. I have Ryan as a sit versus Seattle.
Yeah.
So for me, this whole offseason's been sketchy because you just don't know what you're getting out of teams. You don't know what new schemes are going to look like. This first week is just going to be just research for the rest of the season. It's really, really tough to try to, as I was going through what players I liked and what I didn't, like, I hate to be the guy that's obvious, like you guys said. Play Lamar, play Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to be that guy. So, like, I try to, like, think more into it. I just don't think Ryan plays well against Seattle. I know he's got the weapons, but I don't know what Gurley's going to look like in their offense. I don't know if it's just going to be pass and they're going to be able to sit back on him. So I have him as a sit this week. I'm going to start Wentz. I don't believe in Washington's defense a little bit. I want to start Brady versus New Orleans. I feel like they're going to put up a ton of points in that game. So you've got to pick one or the other, Breeze or Brady, to play. Like,
Ryan,
you just got to.
Mike Evans might not play in that game.
He's still got a ton of weapons.
I know.
And then I got Wilson versus Seattle. Russell Wilson, versus the Falcons. I just think he's going to have a good game. It's just based off of feel. I actually have Lamar as a sit. I don't know why. I just don't like him against Cleveland. I know that's not the conventional choice, but
that's personal.
Yeah, you don't say
it's not personal. I sat Ryan versus Seattle, and I don't like Kyler Murray versus the 49ers especially. So those were my sits.
Let me just get another minute here because now draft season's over. Everybody's got their teams, and I just want to hear about your guys in your leagues. There's some names that we throw out here that quarterbacks 2-3 years ago, everyone would have been scrambling to get them. But as far as like the season going, and not just this week, what do you think about guys like Breeze, Phillip Rivers, even Brady down in Tampa, and you think about Rodgers? I think in one of my leagues, Rodgers might have got drafted in like the 15th round or something. You guys have any faith in some of these older quarterbacks this year, or are we all looking at the younger kids?
I think you got to look at the guys that are mobile. People that are mobile give you that distinct advantage now. The position's changing a little bit. You got to have some wheels. Get 20 to 30 yards rushing every week also to get you take you over the top from a point standpoint. Anybody can go out right now and throw 250 and 2. For that extra edge, we need legs. So the younger guys are giving you that. Yeah. I mean, Brady and Rivers, just as an example, Lamar Jackson will have more rushing yards today in the first quarter than they've had in their career combined. So, they're just, I mean, not to take anything away from them, but they are what they are. When Rivers went to a team with a dominant offensive line that wants to run the ball probably 40 times a game easily. And so that's going to work for him at his age. Brady's just surrounded by talent now. And if they wanted him to sling the ball over the field, they would have never signed Leonard Fournette. So that shows to me that they're going to try and preserve him as much as they can as well, but still have him as a leader in Tampa.
It's an interesting, because of the fact that they've got so many running backs and so many weapons, you almost get nervous about playing Brady because there's just too much. It's just overload. Do you know what I mean? How much is he going to do versus how much everybody else is going to do? That's the thing that scares me with Brady. It's too much.
It's good to have him because he can spread it around. That's kind of the Chiefs scenario. You don't know. Andy Reid's going to have everyone score. So make sure you have Mahomes, and you're going to get a piece of 75% of their scores throughout the year.
Got some comments firing up here from Bruce Stone from the Football Guys podcast. Make sure you guys check them out. He betting versus the Giants. He said Ryan will always be tough in the beginning. He'll be okay, be tough through the beginning. Lamar can't be a sit. Rodgers playing for a job. Rodgers was grossly underrated this season in fantasy-wise.
He's not wrong. I agree with that.
I think Rodgers would have got more play if it was more than Adams at wideout. Their big free agent signing got hurt, and he's out. So, or he opted out. I forget who's the kid from Carolina that came over. His name's escaping me right now. I can't remember. It's bothering me. They're going to tip of my tongue. He either opted out or got hurt and is not playing the whole season. That was their big free agent.
See, I have a personal thing against Rodgers. I'm just not a Rodgers fan. I think he's overrated. Hey, we bring it up on our show all the time on Thursday night, and Deke likes to kill me about it, but I just have a personal thing against Rodgers.
I think Bruce is 100% right with
Devin Funches. Bruce Stone said. Devin Funches.
Funches. Yep, that's it. Thank you, Rob. But Roethlisberger on Monday night, absolutely. I mean, the Giants' secondary is terrible. I know they signed Bradbury. They just signed Logan Ryan. But he's been there a week, so it's easy to say play man-to-man and go cover Golden Tate, but if they scheme anything up, he may not have adjusted to their process yet. So Big Ben's got something to prove, too. They're going to be dangerous this year, I think.
Is this the down year or year for Matt Ryan? It seems like every other year, one season he's got MVP caliber season, and then the next season he falls off a bit.
I think it's an up year, and I kind of went.
Atlanta. I hope it's up.
I'm kind of going with like what Bruce said, like where it's going to be a slow start, just trying to figure out what they are. So that's why I'm struggling to go with them. And as far as the Rodgers thing, am I the only one that subscribes to that whole scorched earth theory? That like he's so pissed off and he's so arrogant about how good he is that he's so unhappy that they brought in another quarterback. He's just not going to be the same guy this year. He's not going to put himself on the line like he does every other season. I just think it's going to be an average season at best for him because he doesn't care. He doesn't want to be there because of the circumstances and what they did. And they're not wrong. I don't want it to make it sound like I'm siding with him over the Packers. You have to have a quarterback waiting in the wings.
The Packers are one of those teams for fantasy. I put them on my do not draft list, which again, this is all personal preferences when it comes to it. I agree with you there with Rodgers. I'm not sold on Aaron Jones yet. It sounds silly to say the guy can run off 4 touchdowns a game, but they bring in another high draft pick in A.J. Dillon.
Right.
I'm all from the Packers this year.
That's a Mike McCarthy theory. He's not there anymore, but his mystique is still there. You don't want to take it away because you don't know what he's going to do.
His stench is still there.
I understand that. He's still in that stadium somewhere. He's walking around, even though he's coaching Dallas.
The ghost of Mike McCarthy.
Still, he'll hold on us forever.
So let's move on to running backs. Jimmy, you start off the running backs, your start sets.
You got the easy ones. And let me put this out here. My leagues, I don't do PPR, so my evaluations may be a little different than your guys. I don't do the PPR leagues. But, of course, you got to go McCaffrey. He's another start every week.
Right.
The two guys that probably the next tier down that I like this week, I really like Josh Jacobs at Carolina this week. I know, see how that Carolina defense does this year. And I want to see what Mostert does, at home against Arizona. See if he's the guy that's really going to take over the job this year. He wanted to be paid like he did, like he would be. He got his extension. I got my eye on Mostert this week.
T.Y.?
That's a good call because I think Tevin Coleman's going to be out. So he's going to get the predominant amount of carries. You don't have to worry about as much of a split as you normally would.
I dig that.
So,
who are your sits, Jimmy?
Sits for this week. I'm keeping my eye on this Eagles game, right? Like, if you're asking
I feel like Jimmy stole my research.
Sorry, I mean, if you put me on the spot, I didn't have my sit ready for this. But if I'm going to have to pick one, it's going to be just keeping an eye on the Eagles game. I think if Boston Scott steps in, he can have a decent game.
Yeah,
but it just. They're playing the questionable, did not practice thing all week. Well, he hasn't practiced pretty much all off season now. So just don't know if Miles is ready. So I'd stay away from that game. So
I have I'm going to actually jump T.Y. in line here. I do have Jacobs starting versus Carolina as well. I have him as a definite start. I have Eckler versus Cincinnati. Again, another bad team. I think Eckler is going to want to come out there and prove something this year. So, and I don't know what to expect from San Diego. I have Keenan Allen as a start for wide receivers, which we'll get into. I just feel like they're gonna be more offensive centric. I don't know how else to explain why I feel like obviously Cincinnati's a bad team. So I'm going Eckler as a must start, and I like Carson versus Atlanta because I don't believe in Atlanta's defense even a little bit as well. It's funny that you said Sanders and keeping an eye on that Washington game because I had the same thing, Jimmy. I have Sanders as a sit. If there's any strength to Washington's team at all, it's their front line. So he might catch a couple balls if you're in a non-PPR, but they've got 4 first-rounders or something on that front line. Like, that's where their strength's going to be. Everything's going to start and end there. So I feel like staying away from their front lines probably and the Eagles running backs is a good choice. And I'm also sitting Chubb versus Baltimore. The whole Chubb and Kareem Hunt dichotomy that they got going on in their backfield and who's going to be the hot hand, and then you're going against Baltimore, which is probably, them and Pittsburgh are obviously the favorites to win that division. That's going to be a bloodbath in that division, I think, this season. So I don't know. I know Baltimore wants to get off to a good start, so I don't like Chubb this week. T.Y., what do you got?
I'm going to piggyback on that. I would start Kareem Hunt over Chubb. I shouldn't say over Chubb, but from an expectation standpoint, if they're trailing in that game, Hunt's out there catching the ball. And if it ends up being in catch-up mode, he's the better play this week in that backfield. I'd also start both running backs in Indianapolis. We talked about this a lot in our other leagues, how Jonathan Taylor went so much higher and Marlon Mack was almost forgotten. That's Mack's job first. From a catching the ball standpoint, Mack's the receiver. So you could see a true committee there. And with the matchup against Jacksonville this week, both of them as a play actually make sense. They both should score this week. Game's going to get out of hand. It's the first game of the week, first game of the year. There's been no preseason. I was shocked that the Chiefs gave Edwards-Helaire 25 carries on Thursday night, right out the gate.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You're going to mix people in, go like anywhere from like 15 to 18 carries a guy, and get everybody's feet wet this week. Because, you don't want – look at all the the soft tissue injuries that have come about in this last week before the season started. They're all coming out of nowhere because people are ramping it up, and they're not in shape. They're not ready. They're not in game shape.
I'm going to keep it professional, but anytime I hear anybody say soft tissue, it just gets under my skin. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's something that you're not allowed to say.
We got a
What?
question here from Matt.
Is it like the word moist?
Half point PPR, Blake Jarwin or Jack Doyle?
I like Doyle.
I have a special place in my heart for Jack Doyle. Of course. Yes, Jack Doyle. Definitely.
I like Jack Doyle this week, but the Blake Jarwin is going to be interesting to watch to see what he becomes down there. So
Yeah.
I'd start.
Yeah,
I'd
you're
say
going to
start Doyle this
Doyle's
week, but
not
keep
going to
your
light
eye
it
on
up.
Jarwin.
Yeah, he should score at some point this week.
Who, Doyle?
Doyle, yes.
Jarwin might actually score this week too, but I wouldn't start him because you just don't know what's going to happen down there.
Let's save that for the anytime touchdown conversation, because one of those guys is in my anytime touchdown, and I don't want to bury the lead on that. You guys are killing me with your picks, dude. I feel like we stole each other's research. Rob, hit us with your running back start sits.
I got Jonathan Taylor. I also I like Aaron Jones to start this week. And
I see Jimmy's eyebrows raise.
I'm big on Jay Connor. Like, better start Connor in that Pittsburgh game. So
I dig it. You got any sits, Rob?
Nah, I didn't do any sits. Just
Rob's playing everybody.
I do like to sit on the Miles Sanders. Like,
It's the first week, right?
Interesting to watch that because they're still announcing him as day to day. So like that's definitely interesting. But the other, I don't know if I jump right on the Boston Scott wagon either though. You know, the other one that is intriguing, kind of is up in the air too, is like you guys said already, but the Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb conversation. Like they gave Kareem Hunt an extension, so he's definitely he's definitely going to be playing
that contract. He was paid not to be a backup. He's not spelling anybody. The money they gave him, he's going to be utilized.
Well, do you think that there's a chance? Do you think there's a chance that Chubb gets put on the block?
Yeah,
I do actually. Yes,
that's kind of the vibe I'm getting too.
If they had done a longer contract, I would definitely say yes. The thing that they did with it only being 2 years, they're both free agents at the same time. So it didn't make sense from that standpoint. If they had put a third year on that, I would think that if Chubb lights it up and you got to pay Chubb $13 million at that point, but you have Hunt locked in at $8 million, you're moving on from Chubb.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see. Time will tell. Listen,
yeah, it's interesting.
One visit from the police away from not being in the NFL anymore. So they're also probably thinking that as well.
True that.
Guy, he should.
That's accurate.
He needs a handler. That's all I'm saying.
He's a better handler.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right, the money he has now is not getting it done.
No, not at all. Rob, let's start off with you with wide receivers. Who were your starts and your sets?
Start Buffalo wide receivers.
All of them?
Yeah. Well, the first two, John Brown and Stephon Diggs. Start both of them.
What about Cole Beasley?
I got him in a different category, but I wouldn't start him fantasy wise because he's just not going to get you the points you're looking for.
Well, you have him scoring a touchdown, so that's points, Chief.
I only have him scoring one.
Yeah.
Well, that's points, bro. That's a start in my book.
I mean, if you're gonna start a guy, if you're in that deep of a league where one touchdown helps you, then you better play Cole Beasley.
Oh, he loves Cole Beasley. It's not last year anymore, Rob. It's a new year.
Hey, he's got better weapons now, so you know.
All right.
What else you got?
Who else? I'd say start Terry McLaurin against the Eagles, especially if you're in a fantasy league that gives you points and bonuses for long touchdowns. Don't forget the guy burned them last year for 2. in the first game of the season or whatever, I say he's good for another one.
You do realize he's going to have Slay on him, right?
It doesn't matter. It's still a long one.
I mean, that matters. That's a big deal.
Dude, we've been watching Slay get burnt in camp. Every cornerback on the Eagles have gotten burnt in camp by like Djax and Rager. So, I mean, I'm just talking about him getting a long one. You know?
All right.
The other one, too, I think ended up on the injury report, though, was Cortland Sutton from Denver this week.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on him.
Especially because it's Monday night. That's a good call, Rob.
If he plays, though, I'd play him as well. And the other one, my last start for wide receiver is going to be Michael Gallup because Ramsey's going to be all over Amari Cooper. So Gallup should get a really good amount of looks this week.
I'm going to sneak in here next, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Rob said. I have Cooper as a sit as well. I don't like Cooper against Ramsey. I think it's not going to be a good play for that. I think play CD is going to probably have a nice breakout first game. And I don't have Gallup. I'm neutral on Gallup. I like Keenan Allen versus Cincinnati. Love Juju with against the Giants. I think Ben's going to want to get out early, and he's going to want to get up, and he's going to want to reestablish Juju as the one there. I think Juju kind of he disappeared last year. Like he did not from the beginning of the season. I didn't feel good about him. Do you know what I mean? Am I the only one who didn't think he was there? He was an afterthought, right?
Yeah, I'm with you there, Steve. I have Juju as a start this week.
Yeah.
I think Juju is him and are going to want to make that again. So he's a start this week for me as well against the Giants secondary that who knows what will be.
Yeah.
They're definitely not. They're in the bottom of the league. Definitely nowhere near the top. Not even middle. So Juju, I look for him to have a good week too.
I got Lockett playing against Atlanta. I don't even know who Atlanta's secondary. I couldn't name one guy in their secondary right now. So I think that Russell Wilson's going to be able to have a field day against their secondary throwing all over him. DK Metcalf and Lockett might each get 100 yards in that game. My sits, Cooper, I'm sitting, like I said, Odell Beckham Jr. versus Baltimore and Landry versus Baltimore. I don't like that matchup for Cleveland at all. Those are my sets. T.Y., what do you got?
Jeez.
He's not even blinking.
I'll jump in there on the Seattle
I
game.
think
He's giving you the stare down, Steve. He's staring you.
I think he's mad about it. It's the Atlanta game.
I'm with you on the Atlanta game too, but I went with DK. I like DK as a start this week. He was on fire at the end of the season last year. I think they're looking to back. I like Cooper Kupp. And if you're looking at sits, I'm looking at the team. You're going to want to give it a connection. New England, is it going to be Edelman? You know, Tommy's boy. Is Cam going to make the same connection with him? You got the new quarterback, the young quarterback up in Cincinnati. You got some good receivers there, and AJ and Tyler Boyd, but just not sure who he's going to make that connection with yet. So I'm staying away from the teams with like a new quarterback, new systems put in place. Just till you. Week one, right? You want to figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah, listen, a lot of week one is it's all speculation. You don't have anybody, you can't see anybody who's got momentum. It's a tough, this is just straight up prognosticating. If you're able to nail any of this stuff this week, I'll be shocked. You know what I mean? Like, it's all off of gut, it's all off of past performance, but it's a tough call. We get T.Y. back? Are you in?
I added him back again. I don't know what's going on with him.
He just keeps staring at me.
He's still giving you that stare down.
Man, uncomfortable.
Still not happy with you, Steve.
I know. Let's go to our miscellaneous, like your flex, your defenses, tight ends. You got any extra players that we didn't get to mention? Hit them out now, Jimmy.
an easy guy is Kittle, right? He's probably a start every week because you have no idea who the number one receiver is in San Fran. So that by default, it's Kittle. I love
Right.
Kittle, home against Arizona. I think Ertz this week too is a good play. Some rough week that he wasn't happy. You didn't think the team had the mutual feelings of wanting to come back. So him and Carson have a nice little relationship. So Carson's going to show support for his boy and throw a couple in the end zone, I think.
I have Ertz as well as a start under my miscellaneous category. I have definitely, if you've got them, Indy's defense is going to surprise a lot of people with how good they are. And then my sits, don't play any. The Tampa Bay New Orleans game, stay away from them. We'll talk about that more when we get to our lines, but I can't get a feel for anything other than that's going over. There's just too many weapons on both sides of that game that a bunch of points are going to get scored there.
Tom, are you back? Tom?
And then
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
so you can hear you.
Yeah. We got you now.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.
It's all good. And then we got I'm sitting Gronk. I'm a firm sit on Gronk.
Where are we to get up? What you're going to get out.
I feel like Gronk is a sit for me just because he hasn't played in a year. What are you going to get out of him?
Kicker.
What's that?
And
I
play
agree
a kicker.
with that, Steve. Maybe like a red zone play.
Yeah, like it's a tough. Everybody's going to want to because it's Gronk, but I don't. He's had a year off. Everybody else that's moved in there has at least played. He didn't even get a camp to get back into it. Like, he's going to play, he's going to score, but I would sit him first week. T.Y., what do you got from, like, your miscellaneous category? Anybody that we missed in a flex or anything like that?
No, I mean, I don't know, because I fell off for a little bit there. So, but, one of the guys, some people may look at him as a wide receiver 3 or a flex. I don't know if anybody mentioned Marvin Jones with Galladay out.
Yeah, it's a good one.
DJ Chark, I'm definitely looking at. He's the only game in Jacksonville right now, so, and they're going to be so bad. You just got to light him up every week just based on, the volume that he's going to receive. Look at the opportunities. The guy on the Raiders, that Brian Edwards, and also Ruggs. Pay attention. Them along with Hunter Renfrow in the slot. 3 new wide receivers in reality out there. They're going to want to try to get the ball spread out and throw the ball all over the field as well. I mean, I know they have Jacobs, but someone's got to take his targets over out there. And, Gruden. Gruden loves to throw the ball. So
that's all good stuff.
We'll see what happens. It's an interesting week. It's a weird week. You're really in wait-and-see mode. And you're just going off of what we've learned in the past, and you're trying to go with tendencies for coordinators until we see what happens. There's a lot of new coaches, a lot of new players in different places, so it's tricky.
Yeah. Let's stick with you, T.Y. Give us your daily fantasy bargains. Who do you like?
Actually, like I know you talked about the Sanders issue. I love Boston Scott on Sunday. Cheap, whether Sanders plays or not. If he gets 10 to 15 touches, I think it's worth it. I believe he's only like 3,200, so he's pretty cheap. Who else do I have in there? I did play Jude.
We're losing him.
He's still talking.
I'm avoiding anybody, obviously.
We lost you for a minute there, T.Y.
That was my best statement of the day that you didn't hear probably. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Listen. We'll clean it up in post. Jimmy.
What did you hear?
Juju, and then you didn't give us your reason why.
For what? Say that again?
I heard Juju, but you didn't give us your reason why.
No, I didn't say Juju. Oh, boy.
Your phone's just making picks for you now.
Yeah, you're making picks. Go ahead, because I'm having trouble hearing you guys too. So move on to Jimmy or Rob.
Jimmy, give me your daily fantasy guys.
It's not working. Not working where I am.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
No, I'm in a parking lot.
You should have stayed in the car, brother. But full disclosure,
working.
Ty and I are both doing this from our
So I got
cars.
up.
He's got his kid's got gymnastics. My kid's got soccer. Listen, this is a labor of love for us.
I'm in the laundry room.
Rob's in the laundry room. Jimmy, I don't even know where you are. You might be at Deke's house, for all I know. Just lurking.
I'm home.
So-
Should have good Wi-Fi, but
What do you got for tight ends? Did any of you
Trouble
guys
with
think
the
of
sound here,
Hayden
boys.
Hurst or Jonnu Smith? Noah Fant? I mean, just they're the lower tier. Of course, all the higher tier. Like you're gonna play Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz, and
I like Fant.
Hopefully, you play Kelsey on Thursday night. So
I like Fant. Fant's getting a lot of love.
Steve, you've literally named my whole team today. You've
Tom,
named
that's
my
why you
whole
gotta
team
stop
against
sending
you,
them your
Steve.
research.
I feel like you're doing this on purpose.
Stop sending them your research.
No, so Ty and I are playing each other this week in fantasy, and I just like his team better than I like mine this week. Apparently.
This is like reverse psychology, so you freaking beat them. Huh?
So what this is me getting in his head. I want him to think that I love his whole squad, so he's like, damn it, if he likes them, they're bad. They're bad picks. I'm in trouble this week. So my FanDuel, I went with FanDuel's numbers for my daily fantasy. I love Mostert against the Arizona defense. Their overall defense last year was like 32nd. They were 24th against the run. Not good at all. And like you guys said earlier, he's going to want to get out to a good start and prove that he deserves the contract. He's at 6,200. That's a cheap price for him against that team. I love T.Y. Hilton versus Jacksonville. He was 6,400. But these are good value picks. Emmanuel Sanders, 5,600.
Yeah, I got Emmanuel Sanders listed too.
5,600. And I like Tyrod Taylor versus Cincinnati. If you're looking to not invest a ton in quarterback, he's only 7,000. You can spread that extra 2 G's that you saved and load up on wide receivers.
What about Jimmy G?
I like Jimmy G, but he was a little bit higher. What was his price?
I don't know his price. I forgot to write it down.
I like it, but there's no Deebo Samuels this week. He's listed as out.
So the receiver to look at with that is Brandon Ayuk, or
Kenny
however you say his name.
Bourne. No, Bourne's the play.
Iyuk. Right, Tom?
No, Bourne. Bourne is the play in San Fran.
Bourne?
Bourne is the play. Kenny Bourne.
Kenny Bourne. Okay.
All right.
But that's the next segment, I think. That's the next segment.
You're going next segment.
Let's, Jimmy, what do you got
You're
for
not
your
buying
fantasy
into the
plays?
Trent Tower love out there.
What are your fantasy plays, Jimmy?
I'm just trying to pull my team up now. Is this daily?
Yeah, daily fantasy.
I liked Cam. He wasn't too pricey. How many DJs in there? I can.
DJs?
I was going through my team last
That's
night.
a good
I don't
call.
know why I didn't save on here. I'm looking at my DraftKings lineup. I guess I must not have saved it.
That's a good call, Jimmy Jackson. I like that.
I don't spend on the defenses and the daily stuff. I just wait to see whatever money I have left over.
Oh, for defense
throw
in the
them
daily, get the Bills or the Colts. Where do
Are
I
they
go?
on the cheaper side? I think I ended up having the Jets in as my defense when I picked last night.
What's that? You have the Jets?
I don't know, geez.
Did you say the Jets?
He
You
did.
said
Yeah,
Jets
that's
D?
right. Because I came to the end of my salary cap.
So you ended up with
So
the
I have
Jets
money
D?
left
Dude,
to
you
buy.
got to change that because the Jets D is going to get shredded.
Yep.
You got to be careful with the Jets D. I say, honestly, if you're trying to play a D in daily fantasy and D's to start in
I'm making
general,
up another position.
I would go for the Bills and the Colts. They're my two defenses that are must start for this week alone. You hear me? Everyone?
Bert heard you. Bills and the Colts.
Okay. Jimmy, you there?
Yeah, my
Jimmy's still
audio
trying
is shitty right now. I'll be honest with you. I keep chopping up. I'm
You on your
hearing like
phone
every
or
syllable.
computer?
You're good,
got
Jimmy.
any-
We can hear you fine.
Keep watching, like just going forward, just general injuries all the way around that you guys are watching out for.
The Devo Samuels one's pretty big.
Yeah. I'm trying to get all of them, but I don't want that's giving me literally the whole league.
Let's move into your lines for the week.
Okay.
TY, what do you like as far as games this week? What are your locks?
I think the Colts are a lock this week. I think their number's like 7-ish.
8.5.
I believe that the over in the Cowboys-Rams is a lock. The last 3 times they've played, they've scored 65 points or more. I don't see that. I see that continuing. They're my 2 big bets for the week.
Keep in mind for
I'm
the
not playing
bets.
small ball anymore. I'm going for the gusto.
Keep in mind for the bets that FanDuel is having a spread the love event again. They currently have the Rams up to, I believe it's +9.
And that's based
I'm
off of
waiting on
who's
that,
betting
Rob.
on
I'm gonna
which
wait as
team,
long as
right?
I can. I need more.
Well, they're just basically it's like a promo. They're just getting more people to bet on the Rams, and they're giving you 9 points for every 5,000 people who do it.
I dig it. That'll get higher before the game starts.
So the last
My
time
games,
we've had the Sixers one night on that spread the love event at like 70 points, or no, I think it was 99 or something.
right?
The last time they did it, it got to every single time it's been ridiculous. So I can just pay attention to the max bet you can do is 50. They're essentially giving you $45 for betting 50. So get on that. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. That's all right. My picks for this week, I love the Lions -2.5. TY, you already mentioned the Colts. I love them. I have them at -8.5. I like them even at that number. I love them at 7. I like them at 8.5.
Okay.
And I like the Eagles -5.5.
Yeah, right.
I think that they smashed the Redskins by 2 touchdowns. I wanted to ask you guys, that Tampa Bay versus New Orleans, the over-under is 48. Does that seem low to you guys?
It's actually 47.5 right now. It does seem low. Seems very low.
TY, what do you
yeah,
think?
I mean, they're good. I think it's just that, I think it's because it's week 1, like we talked about. You don't know. You got a lot of new players. You got a new quarterback in Tampa. I know it's Brady, but it's still new. Emmanuel Sanders comes over to New Orleans. I just think it's one of those things where the lines are going to adjust in week 3 or 4. These first 2 weeks are probably going to be weird numbers because they really don't know what to expect from people right now. So, I mean, would I normally go over with that number with those 2 teams and the players? Yes. Might be one of those games that you just punt on and stay away from it.
Yeah, I don't. I just thought I saw the line and I was like, with all those weapons and the way that those teams are gonna, a divisional knockout game like that, I just definitely didn't feel. I feel like it's low. I feel like the over is a play there.
Sure. You're never out of it when you bet the over.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyone?
What happened?
Steve froze, I think. I don't know. It looks like he's smiling. Is he frozen?
So
Not
what
moving.
else you got as far as locks? Anything?
What do you got, Rob? You got any?
As far as games, I
Are you
love.
asking me or Jimmy?
No, I think Jimmy's frozen too or something. I don't know. I love the Colts game. I'm afraid of the Eagles game.
Yeah, you.
To be honest with you, you hit on it already. The Dallas and the Rams game over 51.5 is probably really looking good. I like the Steelers. The Steelers, I think, are going to be a shock to a lot of people this season. So I mean, look at them. The Tennessee-Denver game that's going to be a tight game, actually. I think over in that game looks good. It's a 40.5, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. The Browns minus 7.5. I don't know. I just don't like the Browns to cover anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. All right.
You think that's a blowout?
What? The Browns game? The Browns game, Tom?
Do you think the Ravens just jump on them again? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, they have the wrong game listed. Yeah, I think the Ravens do list them. Sorry, it had a line for next week already. That's what I saw. But
That's
yeah,
all right.
I think the Ravens smoke them. The Ravens got something to prove again. I mean, Lamar. Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you like games? What games do you like this week?
Games?
Jimmy, what games do you like this week?
I don't know if he can hear us.
I don't think so. He's just shaking his head no.
He's giving. He can't.
I can't. Get that. Like.
I have no idea what he said.
Nothing.
I agree.
Let's go. Let's start off with TY. We'll do your favorite time of the week. Fire them out.
Anytime touchdowns?
Anytime touchdowns.
All right. I already mentioned Bourne in San Fran. I love him this week. I like Ebron, of course, on Monday night in Pittsburgh. The tight ends are back. This is circa Heath Miller style back in the day. Big Ben and Ebron are going to light it up. I don't know. I like my whole squad against Steve Lybrand. He already mentioned him. Keenan Allen's going to score. Saquon's going to score. They're all going to score, right, Steve? Noah Fant's going to score. So
Rob, what do you like?
I got
honestly,
John Brown, Anthony Miller, James Conner, Hayden Hurst, Noah Fant, and Blake Jarwin. They're mine.
What about Cole Beasley?
are you playing them all in one wager?
Actually, I did bet on Cole Beasley to score a touchdown, but
There you go.
It's my anytime touchdowns. I got Emmanuel Sanders at plus 260. I think that's a good play.
That's a good number.
I have Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle at plus 220. I like Greg Olsen at plus 390. And I do as well, Rob, like Cam Newton at plus 240. Those are my anytime touchdown plays. What do you like, Jimmy?
you guys can parlay these on FanDuel, but you can only pick one team, one player from each team, and then you can parlay them and case you're trying to double that one up.
Jimmy, what do you like?
Yeah, I'll send it out.
I think I'm following you guys. We did a touchdown here.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
doing touchdowns.
I'm going with long shots. Because Aaron Rodgers hates fantasy players. Equinemius Brown is getting a touchdown. Nobody will be looking at him. And I'm going to go with Rager.
I like the Rager play. I think he scores too.
Hi, honey. I know.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up for this week. Tune in next week.
Go for long shots. Make some money.
Yeah, tune in next week. We won't all be at soccer or dance or in Jimmy's basement. See you guys all next week.
Later.